Good evening. Hello and welcome to all the dear participants. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes for everyone to join in. I'll put a message in the WhatsApp group. You can also ask your colleagues to join in. So some of you requested for the PPTs for both the sessions yesterday. So I've got the PPTs from Dr. Gopal and Dr. Prakash Gudetti will send it after the session. So today you will have all the four PPTs. So basically yesterday's and today's. So I will put it in the WhatsApp group and you can access it from there. I hope that should be fine. We'll just give a couple of minutes and I'll also tell you that your assessment will be on Future Skills Prime platform. It will not be on Atal. So I will let you know about it in more detail tomorrow because we are making a group of yours on Future Skills Prime. So tomorrow I think the group should be made if I'm not wrong. I'm just checking if the group is already made. One second. Yes, your group is made. So I'll take a minute to show you your group. One second. I'm sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible. So you just go here and type Future Skills Prime. This is the platform on which we have created your group where you will be taking your assessment. One second. So you log in. Basically, you will be signing up for free. My account is already made. So I'll just log in. You will need to sign up for free. Your email ID, which you have given on Atal, is your login ID and password both. And once you enter, you can change the password. So I'm just logging in now. Second. I'm logging in. So once you log in, you'll be able to go to groups. And in this, if you search for AICT, yes, so this here's your group AICT Atal Online FTP DAF. I'm not sure if it's updated. Here you will see your STEM and here is your assessment, which you will be taking after you finish all the lessons. You can take it on Saturday. So right now I'm just giving you a heads up. You don't need to do anything right now. Just focus on the lessons. You don't have to do anything else. We are marking your attendance also. So I'll just figure out. I think probably group is not created as of now. So I'll check that and I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll follow up with the team today and tomorrow I'll let you know. Tomorrow 6 o'clock again you will be joining for the next session. So I will let you know. Right now my request is that you just focus on the lesson and imbibe as much knowledge as you can from Dr. Goretti. Please engage with him. Please ask your questions and happy learning. So over to you, Dr. Goretti.
Thank you so much, Kavna. First of all, a very good evening to everyone. So today we'll be discussing about uh, deep learning techniques or a specific area within AI, right? I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you are able to see. Otherwise, you might be seeing this in next couple of minutes. So don't worry about that. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So, yeah, very good evening. So, we will be discussing about few important uh, topics today. That is deep learning, computer vision, and prompt engineering. We start from the very basic concepts, and we will try to construct how more difficult concepts are constructed from this. Okay, so let us see. Okay, so this session is organized in the following manner. Initially, I will talk about deep neural networks. Why do we need this? Already we have machine learning. Yes, in previous session we talked about machine learning. Right? Why do we need to really think of different type of computational approaches, right? And then we also look at computer vision. What is computer vision and what kind of models that we'll be using in computer vision. And after that, most happening area that is prompt engineering, right? Most of us will be using these prompts without actually realizing the side effects and ethical aspects of AI, right? So that is where we'll also spend some time. And towards the end, I will also try to give some sample questions, right? Objective type questions, model questions, so that you will be clear on how your assessment look like. Because when we attend these sessions, back of our mind, we always carry that assessment element, right? So I just wanted to address that part. So that's how it is. So if my audio is very low, give me a minute. I will check from my end. Is it okay? Is my audio is okay or still you are facing some problems? Let me check volume. Yeah, it is full. It's okay, right? Yeah, very good. Thank you. So let us understand the origin of neural network. This is actually conceptualized uh, f- from human brain, right? So in a neural network, we use a word called neuron, right? So this neuron word actually stemmed out of, biological neuron, right? So essentially, we are thinking of how do we model certain algorithms that try to mimic human brain, right? That's the intent here. And so it was something, quite there quite some time. Uh, Now, if you look at the structure of biological neuron, assume that your neuron in brain, right? It gets signals, right? These X1, X2, Xn, these are the signals that it receives. And there are three important components in our neuron, biological neuron. And they are dendrites who essentially receive the signal. Suppose when you are driving a car, right? When there is a curve, you suddenly take a turn, right? You rotate your steering. So that means brain receives a signal that there is a turn that happens through dendrites. Then you have overall cell body, which is essentially integrates these signals to the nucleus. One minute. and you have axon, right? Axon transmits the processing signals to other neurons or muscles. So it is basically a kind of neurotransmission. The cell body is something happening in between it. So assume that X1, X2, XN, these are the signals that you receive, actually inputs, and how instructions that are sent by the brain to different parts of the body is your Y1, Y2, Y. Right? So you have inputs and you have Y input outputs. In between, you have more complex structure, right? So this is how uh, one can visualize functioning of artificial neural network to mimic how brain functions, right? Because brain comprises of huge number of such neurons, right? Millions of such neurons. So I what we will do here is that we'll try to model each of these neuron is a small unit in a neural network, right? So let us see how can be done. Now, when you are thinking of mapping this entire thing, right? Typically, how your biological neuron is modeled into artificial neuron, right? So, so you have X1, X2, right? And then you have we have input which is coming and from the left, and you attach some weights to it. In the cell, is it is divided into two parts. First part is algebraic sum of all these like this, right? Suppose you have inputs. Let me take two inputs. So it is entering to biological neuron. It has two parts. First one is summation part. Second one is activation part. So I attach to each these input values. You also attach some output values. And this summation that you see here is nothing but omega 1 x1, and there is a bias term also. We call it as omega 0 plus omega 0. This is your first part. The second part, what you do, you apply a function on this I is equal to 0 to 2 omega I xi, right? This is called activation function, right? So that's how it works. Is it clear so far? Any question you have? All right. Now, when you look at this deep neural network, you can extend these nodes, right? Because each layer, you can think of set of nodes, uh, a kind of arranged together, and basically what you have is a network like this, right? You have inputs here and you think of some layers, multiple layers like this, can extend it, and finally you might have some two output layers. So each input that you have is given to various neurons in the first layer is called hidden layer 1. So is the case with second input also. So there will be some weights that you are attaching. So the representation is that is first neuron, second neuron, third neuron, fourth neuron. So you can say that this is 4, 2, this is 3, 2, this is 2, 2, this is 1, 2, W1, 2, right? In other words, if you have an input to jth neuron, the corresponding weight you represent as Ji, Wji, right? That's the notation. Now, the output of this layer is again A1, this is A2, this is A3, this is A4, this is A5. So essentially, this is my hidden layer 2. So you write 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, right? You keep extending this. So again, this neuron is connected with various other neurons through weights. That's how your predecessor layer is connected with your successor layer, right? Every neuron is connected to every other neuron on the next successor layer. And when you do that, finally you have this output layer and you do some kind of prediction here. What are the key components? Input layer. This is called input layer. X1, X2, what you see here is input layer. Then you see multiple hidden layers, right? This hidden layer 1, hidden layer 2, hidden layer 3, so on and so forth. And this is our output layer. Now there is something called nonlinear activation function. We will discuss about that short while from now. So essentially, this is what you have, right? Any questions so far? So the core idea here is that the learning across the network happens automatically. So in a neural network, what you need to understand is two things you need to understand, right? That is, let me share again. You can see my board, right? Hello? So you have any activation unit you take. The first part is algebraic sum part. Second part is non-linear part. So this will be called activation function. There are various types of activation functions. What is the role of activation function? To introduce non-linearity. Why this is important? I will show you with some example, right? So let us take one function f of z given by 1 plus e power minus z. We are talking about activation functions, right? Suppose if you take a plot of this as function of z, at z is equal to 0, e power minus 0 is 1. 1 by 1 plus 1, this is 0.5. And as z increases, this quantity becomes 0. So 1 by 1 plus 0, so it approaches 1 here. Similarly, as z tends to minus infinity, it approaches 0. So essentially it looks like this, right? This is my z is equal to tends to minus infinity, this z tends to plus infinity, right? Now, what exactly happens when you are using, let's say, two inputs into a neuron which is activating with this kind of f? It becomes the sigma will be omega 1 x1. So you introduce a bias term omega 0 because to ensure that you have some value if w1, w2 or x1, x2 are 0, right? So, so essentially what happens is that your output A1 is equal to 1 by 1 plus omega 0 e power minus of omega 0 x2. In vector notation, you write this as W transpose X, where W is, suppose if you say W is a vector given by, and X bar is a vector given by 1, X1, X2, then W transpose X look like as a row you multiply with 1, X1, X2, right? So these matrix operations are internally implemented in a very, very efficient way using what we call them as NumPy arrays, right? So is this concept clear? Activation function. So in a neural network, how these activations will help, right? Suppose if you have two features, let's say I have three nodes in this layer, you put something like this, right? As you go inside, you are getting more and more nonlinear behavior, which means as you move inside, the model is expected to learn complex features. Is this point clear? Now, you understood this? Now, what are the possible activation functions that we have? We are talking about types, right? First one is what we call ReLU function, rectilinear unit, which is given by R of Z is equal to max of 0 comma Z, right? So if you plot this, how does it look like? When Z is negative, it is 0. All negative values of Z, it will be 0 only. When Z increases, it becomes a straight line, right? There is something called leaky ReLU. So, which is of the form instead of 0, some 0.01 alpha and Z. So instead of making it strictly 0, leaky ReLU, what it does, it has some very small negative value, right? I will pause here to understand if you have any questions, please. Okay. So second activation function. Yeah, that is a very good question. How do you decide which activation function to be chosen? Fantastic. I will answer your question. First, let us understand. Is it okay? Suppose if I do it short while from now, that's a great question. Now, second activation function is sigmoid function, which I already explained, right? This is your Z. It goes like this. This is one, and you denote this as the third activation function is tan hyperbolic function, which is equal to e power minus z, sorry, e power z minus e power minus z by e power z plus e power minus z. Now let us understand this. If I want to plot this, right? How does it look like? So let me put like this. This is my z. So when z is equal to 0, this is the easiest case, right? What will happen when z is equal to 0? E power 0 is 1. E power minus 0 is 1. So 1 minus 1 by 1 plus 1, which is nothing but 0. Suppose now z tends to positive infinity. What will happen? When z tends to positive infinity, e power minus z becomes 0. As z becomes large, this whole quantity becomes e power z by e power z, that is plus 1. Something like this. Similarly, as z goes to minus infinity, this becomes minus 1, right? It will be like this. So this is minus 1. This plus 1. So what it does is uh, it basically scales your data between minus 1 to plus 1, right? So how that algorithm learns, right? It learns through two things, right? In the network, we have three important things that happens. The first one is called forward propagation. Are you comfortable with this color? Then we have backward propagation. And then we have loss function, right? So in forward propagation, what happens? It the values are computed across the layers till the output layer. So, from output layer, you will get some predicted value, y predicted. So you compare y predicted with actual value, you take the difference and square it. There's some quantity you multiply, and this is your error, that is loss. So in back propagation, what you do is you minimize this loss. How do you minimize this loss? Such a way that by readjusting the weights. By readjusting the weights. Is it okay? Humayal, Professor Gopika, all of you? Okay, all right. So just keep this in mind. So in back propagation, what will happen is the weight readjustment will be done, right? How the weight readjustment will be done? Let me take simple example. Only one feature I have, one node, one output, right? So this is output A1, this is weight W1. So some bias W0. So in this case, your predicted value A1 is equal to f of Z1, which is nothing but f of omega 0 plus omega 1 x1 because only one feature I have, right? F, suppose if you take sigmoid function, so a1 is equal to, right? So this is your output. So what you do is you take the difference, right? 1 by 2 minus y actual, right? Now, if you want to find, now I want to put a question here saying that what is the rate of change? Rate of change of loss with respect to the weights. That means how one unit change of weight will increase or decrease my predicted value so that how it can become closer to this. So that's where you apply this uh, differentiation. This is laws, right? So you say that do omega naught, right? Which is nothing but sigma of minus y. In- So in other words, if I say my loss is nothing but half of sigma of z minus ya whole square, my loss will be something like how it will vary with weight. If I want to compute this, you compute as dou L by dou Z because dou Z by dou W, where W x1 plus W naught is equal to Z, isn't it? So if you are computing 0, it will become 0. This will be just dou L by dou Z, which is nothing but half into sigma of Z minus Ya into, sorry, this derivative of this becomes, right? So that means partial derivatives. So if I look at partial derivative, right? Sigma of Z, that is nothing but dou by dou Z of, I don't want to just give hand waving arguments and talk some English, right? I wanted to explain you the complete architecture, how it is designed, and without mathematics, there is nothing in you can do in deep learning, right? So this derivative of 1 by 1 plus e power minus z uh, is nothing but 1 by x whole square means minus 1 by x square derivative into this is minus of this e power z by whole square. So what you do here is that you can write this as you add 1, actually it's minus z, right? And subtract 1 whole square which will be minus 1 by whole square. So this can be written as, because this will cancel, minus, this is nothing but our sigma of z, right? Now, if you just take the partial derivative to measure the rate of change of loss, it is essentially becoming sigma of z into 1 minus sigma of z. But we know that sigma of z varies between 0 and 1, right? Yes or no? Hello? Are you understanding this? I'm just calculating rate of change. Are you following? Is it so mild, my voice? Hello, everyone? Am I audible? Am I audible? Loud and clear? Or no? You just type audible. Because yes, yes means I don't know what it is. Very good, fantastic. Now, here you understood the logic here. So this, because this function is any value that you take is lies between 0 and 1 for all z belongs to real numbers, you get fractional values, right? You are keep on multiplying values. Suppose I have multiple layers. I have more than one layer. Then what will happen? When you do this back propagation, more and more quantities will be there in this product, right? So you are keep on multiplying with fractional values. If the larger network you have, larger number of multiplications you have. If larger number of multiplications you have with fractional values, what will happen? The net quantity becomes very, very small, isn't it? Correct? Now, how these weights are computed, right? So these weights are computed using what we call gradient descent algorithm, right? So how learning happens in neural network, right? This is modeled with gradient descent algorithm. So first what you do, you look at all the weights, you initialize with some random numbers. So these are random numbers taken from normal distribution with zero mean and one standard deviation. After that, you just run a loop that is repeat until where you take each weight, you take original weight minus some quantity into partial derivative of loss function with respect to that weight, right? Until there is no change now in weight. Now let us understand how it works. So this loss function, you think of you are standing on a somewhere on a golf court, right? When you're standing on the golf court, what will happen? It will be looking like this, right? This is your golf court. Let me use different color. These are all hilly and valley kind of a places, right? Now suppose you are here, you want to reach here, from here, and you want to reach here, you take smaller steps like this and reach here. Now, the problem is if I take bigger steps, this is your step. Eta is your step. We call this as a learning rate. Are you understanding the concept? Hello. After that is very easy. Only this is difficult part of it. So now suppose you take bigger steps. You take very, very bigger steps. What will happen? It might so happen that after this, again, you are having a valley, right? Uphill. If you take bigger steps, then your steps are so big, then you miss this completely and you start again climbing, right? That means your last function that you are computing need not necessarily a convex function. Right? Convex function means a parabola kind of a shape, right? It will have global minima. But in network models, right, the functions that we deal with not necessarily convex functions, which means there are so many local minima, right? So when your eta value is very large, then you will crossing your minima, you are reaching basically other side, right, of the hill. Similarly, when your eta is very small, what does it mean? You should visualize instead of you walking down the hill, your kid is walking, either son or daughter. So what is the difference walking, if you consider walking as a activity? Let's say both you and your kid are started at the same time, started walking down the hill. What do you notice? Your kid will be taking more time to reach that point, right? It will take too long to reach that point. So choice of eta and is very, very important thing. Now coming back to this problem, when I'm calculating this partial derivative essentially is becoming multiplication of these sigma values, right? But we know that sigma values are fractional values between 0 and 1. When you keep on multiplying these fractional values, essentially this whole thing will become 0 and your weight will never get updated because this quantity is becoming 0. That is called vanishing gradient problem. Are you understanding? Yeah? Hello? Have you understood this vanishing gradient problem? Now, how do we avoid this vanishing gradient problem? By choosing a different activation function such that when I differentiate, it will not become a fractional value. Correct? It should not become fractional value. The moment it becomes fractional value, what will happen? The value gets diminishing. And so is the case even with tan hyperbolic function, right? You take tan hyperbolic function derivative, right? Suppose this is your tan hyperbolic function, right? So you can apply UV formula, you will get this as 1 minus f square. Suppose this is your f of z, then this implies f dash z is 1 minus f square. Again, this is also fractional value. And you are subtracting this becomes smaller and smaller. Either it will become exploding gradient or vanishing gradient. But what will be the most commonly used activation function? That is ReLU function. That is max of 0 comma z, because when you take dou L by dou z, this will become at most 1. But the problem with this function is the function is not differentiable at 0. And still, this function works very well in neural network experiments because of the fact that you never encounter absolute zero like the way you defined it here, right? So there are multiple ways you can look at. So these are some of the challenges. What are the challenges working with deep learning problems? Can you list out? What are the problems? I am asking you. One is vanishing gradient problem. Other one is convergence problem. Third one is exploding gradient problem. Right? No, no, that is okay. But you are able to understand what I am saying, right? Mayal, are you able to understand what I am saying? What I am explaining? I am not asking your prayer knowledge. I am asking based on what we are discussing in this session. Right? So you are comfortable with this discussion, right? You are understanding, no? Yeah, let me go to the slide now. This is the background, right? All right. So what are the applications of this, right? It has various applications. One is automatic feature extraction, because when you want to recognize more complex images by maintaining a very deeper network, higher order features and more complex features the network will learn from. And then since you have so many neurons, right? So that gives you a flexibility to handle high dimensional data, more number of features, and such is the case with image, text, and all that. And it will help you capture complex nonlinear relationships, and it can be used in various domains, right? That's how it is. Now let us look at one sample example, right? Suppose this is simple perceptron model. What is perceptron model? the one which does not have any hidden layer, directly output layer. So look at these values. Assume that you are using sigmoid function. Any negative value of sigmoid function is 0, that we have seen, right? When both are 0, g of minus 10, because this weight is minus 10, this 20, plus 20x1 plus 20x2. When both are 0, g of minus 10 becomes 0. When one of them positive, one of them negative, then again, sorry, one of them is 1, one of them is 0, you will get g of 10, which is 1, which means your output is 1 if either one of them is 1. So this is corresponding to OR gate, right? Isn't it? So OR gate, how do you model this? Assume that if you plot this in feature space, x1, x2, when x1 0, x2 0, this output is 0, 1 0, this is 1, 0 1 also 1, 1 1 also 1. So assume that there are three positive examples, one negative examples. You can always draw a decision boundary where one side of the boundary are all positive examples, other side of the boundary are negative examples. Similarly, AND gate, but XOR gate, if you take, for XOR gate, you cannot, what is XOR problem? XOR problem is output will be 1. Suppose when this is 0 0, this is 1 0. When one of the output is 1, then only output is 1. Look at here. When 1 0 and 0 1, then it is becoming 0, otherwise it is becoming 1. In other words, it is a kind of complement of it. So essentially what you are saying is 1 0 0 1 is here. Other examples are negative. This is negative, this is negative. You cannot draw a straight line to separate them. So your boundary will be something like this. So whenever you have a non-linear boundary to separate the examples into positive class and negative class, you must have at least one hidden layer. So now in multi-class classification, you have a deep neural network, you have some pedestrian, car, motorcycle, etc. And there are basically four classes. So these are all about deep neural network, right? Next, convolution neural network. Have you understood so far? Hello? Have you understood this class so far? This session, sorry. Convolution is a different operation. Convolution neural networks are extensions of deep neural networks, but they can capture spatial data distribution. Like, for example, color image is there. Sometimes it will be very thick and all that, right? So it is based on convolution operation, right? So it will be useful for focusing on a particular region in the image, particular region of pixels in the image. That is called local receptive field. And then various other properties, right? You don't worry about it. So now these are the various aspects pertaining to deep neural networks. The main difference between convolution neural network and a fully connected neural network or deep neural network is that the feature learning aspect, if you take, it learns spatial features, whereas deep neural network is limited to capture only a certain extent to structural aspects, right? It will have few parameters because the weights are getting shared. You'll have a lot of parameters here. The computational cost is very high in the case of fully connected one compared to this. And computer vision tasks, this is excellent. What are the computer vision tasks? image segmentation, image classification, object detection in an image. Suppose you are given an image where parrot is sitting on a tree. Object detection means highlighting and drawing a bounding box to that parrot, right? So this is how it works. You take an image, you apply convolution operation, then you apply pooling operation, again convolution, again pooling. Like that series of operations you can perform any number of times. After that, you flatten that entire thing into bit sequence of numbers. That is called fully connected layer. Then you essentially get the class, whether it is a dog or cat, etc. Right? Now we need to understand the convolution operation, right? Let us understand convolution operation. Now, if you see here, right, you see the beak, right? Suppose this is the feature that you want to extract. The more and more layers that you add, then you get better resolution of this complex features, right? So this is the convolution operation that I am talking about. Assume that you have your pixels in this format. Now you apply a kernel. Kernel is a kind of region of exposure, right? You have a torchlight and you want to scan your image pixels with this torchlight in a specific region, right? You are applying kernel here. So kernel is another small matrix kind of a thing. How it works? Element by element. Let's say this is 2 cross 2 kernel. Element by element multiplication you do. That means 0 into 0 plus 1 into 1 plus 3 into 2 plus 4 into 3. 4 into 3, 12. 12 plus 6. 18, 18 plus 1, 9. That's how you got 19. Similarly, if you apply convolution this region, right? That is, you are taking 1, 2, 4, 5, this region. You can see it in the diagram, which is the region of focus, right? And you apply convolution here with a kernel of 0, 1, 2, 3. How does it work? This is element by element, corresponding element you multiply. 0 into 1 plus, that means I am multiplying these two. Next I multiply these two plus, next I multiply these two plus, I multiply these two. What is the value? 15 plus say 20, 23 plus 2, 25. Are you understanding? Sorry. Next I will take 3, 4, 6, 7. Same thing apply. You will get 37. And you have another concept called padding. In this, what is happening is the cells which are at the center, they are appearing in the multiple kernels, right? But if you want to focus on edge features, then you can do padding with zeros. You add extra rows and extra columns with zeros so that you will be able to capture the features in the boundary. That is called padding. There's one more thing called pooling, right? I have not explained that, but pooling means a kind of sampling from this. If you don't want to have this much big, uh, pixel feature map, this is called feature map, right? Then probably you can use pooling here. There are multiple poolings we have. Feature map reduction, that is called pooling. What are the poolings we have? Max pooling. Suppose I have 2, 4, 6, 8. This is what I am considering. When I apply max pooling, what is the maximum value among this? I will get 8. So like that, you extract most dominant feature from the feature map. Are you understanding? Hello? Hello? Umiyal, Tejaswini, See, you're all faculty, right? Suppose if your student is not responding to you in your class, how do you feel? Hmm? Will you fail about it or not? Ah, maximum pooling. Let me explain pooling. You don't feel bad, Mubin? Your students are not responding to you. That means you go to the class as if you are teaching some, plants and trees. Is it? Is it like that? So let us look at, you are asking maximum pooling. So when I say maximum pooling, what is the maximum value among these? 2, 4, 6, 8, 8. So instead of taking this matrix, I just take 8 here as a representation of this particular grid. Now, suppose if you say average pooling means you take average of this grid. That is 5, right? So maximum pooling, minimum pooling, and average pooling, these are the most common pooling techniques that we have, right? Is it clear, Umyal? What is pooling here? Hello? These are all basics, and it is important to understand these basics for your exam standpoint.
I think sir has lost his network. No, no, I am there. I am here, but I think sir has lost his network. We'll just wait for him to join back.
पानी ज्यादा हो गया वो। କେହି नहीं ସେ जो ଅନଲାଇନ ରୁ ନନଭେଜ ମଗାଏ ନା ସେମାନେ ସେମାନେ ଫ୍ରି ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି।
Sir is joining back. I think he has some cord problem, so he's just joining back. Just please have patience for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, sorry, there is some sudden power problem I had. I took some time to sort that out. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Yeah. We were talking about prompt engineering, right? So basically, the prompt engineering helps in generating some output from the large language models, right? So, and it will help us to generate right prompts and responses from these models. So it is all about how do we design these prompts? Like you must be working with Chat GPT, for example, right? So how do you actually give prompts to the Chat GPT model and how you get the response, things like that, right? So there are some other important things that we should be good understanding. One is clarity and specificity. That is very important. Then second thing is you need to provide the context to the model. So context you provide through examples, right? For example, you say that instead of asking what is the capital of US, you say that what is the capital. So you say that New Delhi is capital of India. So similarly, can you tell me what is the capital of Iran, for example, right? You give some examples. These are called prompt design techniques. And depending upon how you are giving examples, we have one-shot prompting and chain of thoughts prompting and all that. We will explain, we will discuss that in detail. What is clarity and specificity? So instead of saying explain photosynthesis, you will say that persona, you attach persona. That means role, right? Explain photosynthesis in simple terms for a 10-year-old. So that's how you attach some roles or personas when you are prompting. Second thing is you need to provide the context. That means you provide some kind of a background to help and tailor make the response from the large language models. How these large language models work, they actually extract information from various sources and distill that information, try to provide more relevant information to you, right? So suppose you say again persona essay, you're a marketing expert, create a tagline for new eco-friendly water bottle. And third thing you need to consider is you need to define proper structure and constraints attached to it. For example, summarize the article in a three-column table, right? Something like that. Are you following? Any questions you have on this? So, of course, recursively you need to test on different responses in order to validate it is actually giving the contextualized information, right? So there are various techniques you have, few shot prompting. That means you will give more examples. There is something called chain of thought prompting. Chain of thought prompting means for mathematics, for example, right? You keep on giving different examples. For example, if you want to do a, a you want to compute weights of a neural network using back propagation, right? You upload an image and you say that compute forward pass and display the results. Then after that you say print, you know, output. and compute the difference of actual versus predicted value. Then you say that estimate weights of the last layer, because in the back propagation you come from the end, right? Like that, when you are giving these instructions in a very, very chronological order and in a the way we think, right, humans, then that will give better response. Your large language models like ChatGPT or Gemini, right? Then uh, instruction and input separation I already explained. Role prompting I already explained, like persona based prompting. That's what I said, right? Why it is important? Because you will get more meaningful responses, and you can actually use in teaching also, right? Prompt engineering. You can create a nice course plan, for example, isn't it? We should not afraid of uh, you know we should not afraid that students will use prompt engineering, or right, they will use chat gpt. We should we should think of novel approaches of how do you make this prompt engineering as part of their active learning environment. That is one of the very good interesting areas, right, for academic community. So this is the classification. You have a zero shot prompting, you have few shot prompting and chain of thought prompting. You can see it here. So one shot prompting means you provide a single example. Few shot prompting means you will give few examples. You are able to see this table, right? Hello? Good. Similarly, chain of thought means you will be giving step-by-step instructions, and basically for math related problem solving, you will be using this chain of thought prompting. And if you want to understand a particular pattern or structure, you will be using few short prompting. These are some of the examples. You can go through it after the offline. Right? I don't know how to read this slide actually. What are the use cases? For example, one-shot prompting. For example, if you want to do simple text classification, simple summarization, that can be one-shot prompting. And on the other hand, few-shot prompting means you can deal with more complex classification tasks like structured content generation, style transfer, these kind of problems. And the chain of thought, of course, gaming related problems, coding and explanations pertaining to coding, that will be your chain of thought. So, so these are some of the things you should try to keep in mind, and you should be having well versed with having good understanding and well versed with large language models like transformer models like ChatGPT, Gemini, right? So, can you tell me, Gemini is popular because of what? Why Gemini is popular? In other words, if you compare ChatGPT and Gemini, how do you compare? Just type in the chat box. Remember, I think we have only another 10 minutes. So keeping that time in mind, let me explain to you. For text-based inferencing, your ChatGPT is really good. For multimodal prompts like images, text, speech, video, all that, Gemini is very good actually, right? So it is always better you get acquainted with some programming language, and it is important that you learn Python in case if you are not familiar with it. Then good understanding of data structures is important, and understanding ethical and responsible AI is very, very important, right? So please, of course, that is not within the scope of this session, but responsible and ethical AI is one of the very, very important areas that one should look at, especially when you are leveraging these. large language models, right? Sorry. So of course, one of the problem that you deal with these models is hallucination, right? That means it tries to, you know, uh, give some kind of a biased input, biased response, and especially it occurs when the model generates incorrect or fabricated information, right? Because it might be extracting from sources which may not be authenticated, right? So an outcome of hallucination you can observe as output may be completely different. It could be ambiguous, etc. How do you reduce it? You should ask for citations, like which resources you referred to to come with this kind of inferencing. Can you support large language model by providing some reference documents and reference artifacts? So these are the typical examples of how prompt look like. I will skip this. Now sample quiz for you. I think we have another 9 minutes. So please answer. These are sample quiz questions. Like, how you can expect quiz questions. So which option is correct in this? Among these options, prompt engineering persona pattern. Yeah. Make the model assume a specific role or identity. Not C. Not C, Venu. Persona means role. No, A is also correct. A is also incorrect. Persona pattern means I already told you, right? It is specific to role. Now look at this carefully and answer. Sorry, I had told. Explain quantum mechanics in 50 words. You are a helpful math tutor. Solve the following problem step by step. Then third prompt is summarize the given paragraph in a bullet points. Fourth one is generate three creative stories. Among them, which one is persona prompt? B. Why it is a persona prompt? Yeah, very good. Now let me go to the next question. Now look at here. Hmm. Why persona patterns are useful in prompt engineering? Which answer? Which option is correct? Remember this, in the assessment, any assessment, I don't have to tell this. Out of four options, you always see two distractors, right? You should not get confused with distractors. Persona patterns useful because they guide the model's tone, expertise, and perspective. Because persona is connected with a perspective, right? If you have a scenario, how a student looks at that scenario will be different from what teacher looks at that scenario. The perspectives are different. That's why personas enable your large language model in terms of tone, expertise, and perspective. Now let us look at this. A teacher designing the prompts for educational chatbot wants the Alto, that is the chatbot, act as a patient tutor. What is this technique among all the four? See, because you are setting a persona with role play instructions. Now, I said that, the model might be biased to certain things, right? So look at this. What is the main cause of bias? Random initialization is not in our control. Overfitting is not in our control. It could be because human bias might be embedded in the data, right? Now, just because you are using deep learning models, it doesn't mean that the AI systems want to get into bias, right? Next, fairness. What is the aim of fairness? Which option? What is the yeah, see, equitable treatment, providing equitable treatments. Now, next one. Look at this. Lending AI system approves more loans for men than women. What it is called? No, gender bias. This is bias towards gender, right? Are you getting this? Hello. Now, of course, ethics recommendation. It cannot be Kirchhoff law, yeah. How can Kirchhoff law will tell you guidelines on fairness and accountability in AI? Just go through this. Why fairness is important? B, correct. Because to ensure AI benefits are distributed equally. So that's all I have. Any questions you can ask me. So please ask me questions. Hope Kamna you are not upset because I got disconnected in between for 2 minutes.
No, no. I think always there are some
It
or
is
the other
unexpected actually.
infrastructure issues are always there. I think, especially in a technical session, there has to be a technical issue. So,
No, no, not like that. But I was just rushing here and there to fix this. Yeah,
sure. No, no, no worries. I think if no one has any questions, we'll just thank you for your session and we'll let you go. And we have our next trainer with us. And Dr. Prakash Kotetti, I'll just request you to share both your PPTs with me
sure,
as soon as possible so that I can share
sure.
it with the group.
Yeah,
And you can stop sharing.
thank you. Give me a minute.
Yeah. Let me now welcome our next trainer, Ms. Shikha Tyagi. She is a subject matter expert in AI. She has been with American Express, if I'm not wrong, leading their AI governance, and now she is the founder of her own startup, which is AI Jamic, and she has been associated with us from the very beginning, and has been her sessions have been much appreciated by other faculty members. So I'll give it over to her to take the discussion, to take the session forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Kamna. I hope I'm audible to everyone. I'll share my screen. So, is my screen visible to everyone? You can drop in chat. Yes, no. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so hello everyone. So the topic that I will be covering today is AI tools for online learning. So this topic is something I really like because even I use a lot of AI tools on a day-to-day basis to upskill myself, to learn something new which is coming in the industry. So I really hope that whatever I'm taking you through today in this session, you will be able to apply on day-to-day basis to upskill yourself also and learn whatever new things are which are coming in the industry. So with that, let's look at the agenda. So I will be covering these three main topics today. So this will actually won't be topic. I'll try to create a smart study system using different AI tools, which you will be able to use first to upskill yourself and using AI as your thought partner, a thinking partner to learn not just technical skills, also, let's say, soft skills, presentation skills. Then, using the smart study system, I'll also take you through how you can apply that to your teaching and learning philosophy, how you can design contents, assessments, and interactions which you can use with your students using the AI tools. The third topic will be responsible and ethical usage of AI in education. So this is something I'll cover to at the end to make sure that all of you, when using AI tools, is aware of what can be done, what cannot be done. So disclosure, citations, and privacy related issues is what I will take you through. So with this, let's start with the topics. Before I begin, I have a question for all of you. So do you know what is Bloom's 2 sigma problem? Anyone in chat you can drop. Have you heard about this? What is this? Yes, no. Even if you don't know, you can drop no also, not an issue. Yeah. So Bloom actually is something done by researcher Benjamin Bloom, and he actually did a research that whenever you do a one-on-one personalized education, the scores or the thinking ability of the students improves drastically. So this he did a research on this on the personalized teaching. So what we are seeing today, the AI tools which are coming up, they can actually be used to create personalized training or learning plans. So this is a very good opportunity for all of us to leverage all the tools which are available out there to create personalized learning path for all of us and also for our students, because we all know that no two people are at the same level. Some might need more attention, some are really quick at understanding the concepts. So we need to create a personalized plan which can cater to your students' need. So these AI tools which are available out there, I'll take you through how you can take their help in creating these personalized learning plans. So anyone who's interested, do read about this research. It was done by Benjamin Bloom related to education and literature. With this, now let's move next and see how we are going to be using these AI tools to create our smart study system. So it will be, as you can see, is going to be a 4-step process. The first step is the learning phase, where I'll talk about different AI tools which you can use to upskill yourself, to learn new skills. That can be your technical skills, coding skills. You want to, let's say, learn about AI, generative AI, data science. Not just that, let's say you want to work on your communication skills, writing skills. So what sorts of tools which are available? You want to do research on a specific topic of your interest. You want to write research papers. So what are the tools which are available out there, which can help you or assist you in doing that, is what I'll cover in the first learning phase. After that, whatever learnings you have, I'll show you in the second phase, which is your content design and delivery phase, how you can convert that into, let's say, a curriculum or a topic that you are going to be teaching to your students, how you can assist them in learning faster. So all of that I will take you through in the second phase, uh, like how to create content, design the relevant content, create interactive media and presentations using these AI tools. The third will be assessment phase. So in assessment phase, let's say you have done a lot of learning in the learning phase. Uh, this can be for yourself or for your students. In the second phase, you deliver, let's say, some content or lecture to your students. Now it is very important to understand the how much content was actually understood by, let's say, you or your students. So this is where the third step comes into picture, which is your assessment phase, doing the analysis of what has been learned in the last two steps. So here I'll take you through what are the AI tools you can use, how you can use them for item creation, quiz creation, and doing the auto grading. Once that is done, the last will be analytics phase, where you will see how the students are performing, or let's say how you performed on some questions that you actually tried yourself. What were the areas of gaps? So all those analytics can be done using the analytics phase. So there I'll talk about how you can actually generate and summarize the LMS discussions, which, let's say, students are having. Let's say whatever the results of their quizzes are, how you can analyze them and can generate learning insights for the next course of action. So this is the smart study system design is what we are going to be which we are going to do in these 4 step-by-step process. So now let's start with the learning phase first, which is using AI as your thought partner for upskilling and learning new skills. Before I begin, I want all of you to maybe drop in chat what tools you are using currently to, let's say, learn some new concept, do some research, like whichever tools you are using. Feel free to drop in chat. Okay, so let me take you through some of the tools that I will be covering, but feel free to put in the chat if something you are already using for yourself. So the first step is your learning phase, where I'll take you through how to use AI as your partner in thinking. So the tools that I will be covering first will be specific to technical skills, or I would say coding skills, where I'll take you through first Google Colab, and then I'll talk about GitHub Copilot. After that, the second set of tools are related to research. Let's say you want to perform research on a specific topic of your interest, then how you can use these specialized AI tools such as Science Navigator or Elicit to do that. After that, I will talk about different categories of tool, which is to improve your soft skills, let's say communication skills. Let's say you have a upcoming presentation and you want to prepare for that. So you can use AI as a coach for that also. So this will be your third category of tools that I will take you through for working on your speech delivery or presentation aspects. So these are the 3 category of tools that now I'll take you through. Yeah, I get some answers in the chat that people are using Copilot, Chat GPT, Perplexity. So yeah, really good that, yeah, these are the very popular ones which are available out there. And the ones I'll take you through now, they're very specific, dedicated AI tools for the things that I will be covering now. Anyone use Google Colab? It's very popular, but I just want to get a sense how many of you have tried Google Colab. So yeah, so I see, yeah, some have tried, but let me take you through. Let's say if you have not already, it's a really great tool. It is by, again, Google, as from the name you can see that. It is used to learn machine learning, data science, and let's say you want to learn about data analytics, artificial intelligence, want to actually write codes to develop the models. So all of that you can take help of Google Colab. So let me open that. So this is the URL, collab.research.google.com. Even if you go to Google and just, let's say, type Google Colab, this is the URL you will get, and this will be your landing page. So here, what you can do, you can click on create a new notebook. And actually, it's like a AI paired programmer. So if you see on this screen, left-hand side is where the code will be returned, executed. And on the right-hand side, what Google has done, they have integrated Gemini also here. So here you can see already, it has given some sample prompts like how can I install Python libraries, load data from Google Drive, show an example of training a simple ML model. So even if you are someone who have never written any line of Python code, so just to tell you that this is specific tool where you can write Python codes. So if you need any help in writing Python code, so Google Colab is a really great resource for you. So let's say I want to learn about machine learning, data science, write codes on that, how to do data analysis. So these are very, very popular topics in the world of data science. So if you want to, let's say, learn about it and write codes, take help of these AI tools. So Google Colab is the right place for you. So let's say you say that show an example of training a simple ML model. So let's click here. So Gemini will start processing your request here. And on the left-hand side, you don't have to actually write any code. It will start writing the code for you itself. So you can see automatically all the code is written here. I have not written any line of code. So it has also added relevant comments also. So you see, for building a training a simple ML model pipeline, first you need to create a simple synthetic data with a linear relationship. Then it has written this all code by itself. Then it has again given a commentary that what the next set of code blocks are doing. So it has written all the codes for you. It has added the comments also. And if let's say you have any question, let's say it says that metrics like mean squared error, you are not aware what does that mean. So you can just ask here, what is mean squared error, the way you do that with your normal AI tools. But here the thing is that it's a dedicated AI code editor, which you can use to code in Python, learn Python, and build machine learning models, learn about AI, how to code in Python to actually create AI models. So this is a very handy tool which you can use for coding specific needs. So this is one tool I wanted to take you through. Apart from that, I saw some of you have used GitHub Copilot. So let me take you through that also. So here GitHub Copilot, again, another tool for programming. You can learn programming using this. It's as Google Colab was specific to your Python codes, but that is not the case with GitHub Copilot. So you can use all sorts of programming language. Let's say you want to code in Java, or let's say you want to build front-end application, there are GitHub repositories that you want to understand. So all that help you can take using the GitHub Copilot. So when you log in with your Gmail or GitHub account, you can click on try Copilot now. It provides a lot of credits, free credits, which you can use monthly basis. So you don't have to pay for anything. And you can see it has a lot of functionality. You can write codes here. You can understand different repositories. Let's say you are someone learning about data science. So there's a very popular library in data science, which is scikit-learn. So you want to understand about these packages, these GitHub repository. What does that code contains? So basically you can do all the question and answering on these GitHub repositories also. So let's say you just take this repository and paste it here. It will automatically identify that's a GitHub repository. So you can do Q&A on top of it. Let's say you start asking questions like, what does this repo do? And you can ask it to create your ML pipeline models also using that. So a lot of things you can do through GitHub Copilot. You can also see there are different options also of which model you want to use. So here GPT-5 mini is selected by default, but if you want, you can select different models also like Claude, GPT, GPT-4o. So these options are available with the free model. So anyone, any question on these two? So apart from this, are you any using? Yeah, I see a question. All are free tools? Yes, GitHub Copilot. It has some credits which you can use monthly, and if it gets exhausted, next month you will again get those credit. Your collab, Google Collab is absolutely free, so you can use as much as you want. There is no costing. That's why I was saying that if you want to learn Python, artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, try Google Colab. It's a really great tool available to you for free. Okay, so the next tools that I'll take you through now is related to how you can use AI tools for research, academic learning. So Elicit and Science Navigator are the next set of tools that I'll take you through now. So let's first see Elicit. And you can see, as the name itself says, AI for scientific research. So it uses AI to search, summarize, extract data, and chat over 125 million papers. So you can see it's a specialized AI tools for doing the scientific research, which behind the scene is actually using the papers which are available at different repository all over the internet. So this is the very, I would say, specialized thing which it is doing compared to other tools. Let's say you are using ChatGPT. So it can take information from anywhere in the, let's say, different blogs which are there, websites are there. But AI, which is built by Elicit, it actually is using only the information from the papers, academic research papers, which are available on the internet. So when you go to this elicit.com, it has again both free and paid version. With free itself, you get a lot of functionalities. You can find papers on a specific topic. You have already papers available with you. You want to do some question and answering on top of those papers. So you can use Elicit for that. So here, let me zoom in a bit. So you can see on the landing page, the first option which is there is find paper. Let's say you want you are doing some research on a specific area, so you can write about it. Let's say you are interested in quantum computing. So let's say you ask about quantum computing. And one of the great things about is that let's say I just write this topic name, then it gives me some suggestion also how I can refine the question on the instruction that I'm asking. So here you see it says that more precise questions work better. So try adding elements like this. First, it says specificity. When I click here, it has refined the topic that I had written. It has converted quantum computing to what are the potential applications of quantum computing in cryptography for enhancing cybersecurity. Then it has given me another option which says research type. It says in the prompt now that how do current quantum computing algorithms compare in computational efficiency across different problem domains. The third is intervention. So what is the impact of quantum error correction techniques on the reliability of quantum computing system? So you can think of as a prompt engineer also, which they have integrated. I'm pretty sure all of you must have heard about prompt writing, prompt engineering. So one of the main principle of getting the good results from AI is to write instructions, correct instruction, elaborate instructions. So it has in a way integrated prompt engineering also in this particular dashboard. So let's say with just those two words which I have written, I want a research type of query to be answered. So I click on research type, and it has reworded, rephrased, and this question is now something which will be answered when I hit enter here. So I click here. And behind the scene, what will happen? It will start searching through its database of all the 125 million AI papers which are there. It will find all the relevant papers to the query which I have given. So you see it has found 10, it has rank ordered them based on the relevancy to the query which I have written. So you see the first paper is this one, comparison of performance for quantum and conventional algorithms. It generates an AI summary also. So you can see it has generated a summary of this paper, that what this paper is actually talking about. And on this third frame, which you see on the right hand side, it has given the paper also. Let's say you want to go through the entire paper also here quickly. So it gives you that information also here. So all the things is there. It has given links also here of the papers. So if you want to read the actual paper, so that also you can do by clicking on that specific paper. So it has source, when it was published, citations. So in this way, it gives you a 10 rank ordered papers to the query that you're interested in. So this way you can research about different topics that you're interested in. What's the latest research which is happening? So you see there's another one. So this is the rank order list along with the summary. And whenever you click on a specific summary, the results also is shown, which is relevant to the paper, which is there in the first column. So this is one of the features that you can research about a particular topic using this. And it only refers to the papers database, nothing else which is available there on the internet. So next is your paper chat. So here what you can do, you can upload your papers. Let's say you download something and then do the Q&A on top of it. The one more thing which I really like is this popular workflows research report. You can actually here create a research or generate a structured research report also automatically. So here you see it has given three options. If you just want to try out what kind of response you are expected to get with the research report workflow. You can click on any of these. Let's say I click on this online versus in-person CBT. You can change the topic that you are interested in. Let's say quantum computing. Again, you want to create a research report on that. So let's say I've just used this option which was available. I click here. So behind the scene now it will start formulating the research report for whatever topic that we had given in the question. So you can see it has created a report for you, and it has actually on the right hand side, if you see, it has given you the process also which it has followed. So basis on the question I had given, it first found some 500 sources related to that concept. After that, it did a further screening on those 500 sources and narrowed down to 28 resources. And from those 28 sources, then it extracted somewhere around 280 data points to create this final report which you are seeing. So it has generated this report with abstract method and the comparative effects and the outcomes. So the way a report is structured has followed that format and ends with the conclusion and the references. So in this way, you can try creating research reports also for any topic that you are interested in through this workflow option which is provided in Elicit. This is also available for free. So the three things which I showed you, find paper, paper chat, and research report, these are available with the free version. And the other things which are here, you can see are part of the pro version. So this is a very good tool to do the research on the papers. Apart from that, there is one more science navigator also, which you can try. So this is now renamed to Borium AI. So it also does the similar sort of thing. So AI search on Google Scholar, whatever information is there, it uses that to answer the question or do the research. So you can see, ask any scientific question which you want to get answered, and it here you can see the sources which you want to refer to, all just related to natural science, engineer technology, life science, philosophy. So you can specify that also. So here you can again upload files and do the Q&A on those papers also. So these are the two very popular one for doing the research, academic research. So these were related to these tools which I just showed you are related to first, if let's say upskilling or learning about coding, data science. You want to learn about other coding languages, use Google Colab, GitHub Copilot. You want to do research on a specific topic. Elicit Science Navigators is available for that. And the third tool, which I'll take you through now, is Udemy. Anyone heard about or tried Udemy? Yeah, so Udly, if you have not tried, is a really good tool, but the issue is that you get only 5 free credits with this. So if you want to try Udly, go just type Udly AI and you will get this link. You can click on it, log in, create your account, and what you get as a free tier is 5 interactions that you can have with Udly. So here you can see I logged in and it only gives 5 interaction which you can use for practicing for a upcoming presentation that is, let's see what you are preparing for. So here you can see you can practice here. Upload a, let's say, a recorded speech which you have of yours and you want to be analyzed by the AI. Let's say what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses you want to identify so that you can do well in your upcoming presentation. So all of that you can do with this. You can actually record your video also and get it analyzed. Let's say it's so what it does, not just the way you are talking, it analyzes your facial expressions also and can give feedback on that also. So it's a very nice tool, just that only 5 interactions you will get for free. You can actually use tools like ChatGPT also, because you might have seen that now there is a voice mode also which you can try. So what you can do, you can go to ChatGPT and ask it to act as your AI voice coach. So are you guys familiar with the persona which you should provide while writing prompt? So if not, you can actually learn or read about giving personas to AI model. So how you can do that, let me just quickly show you. So let's say you open ChatGPT and ask it to act as my voice coach for upcoming presentation. So this is how you are actually giving a persona to the AI model, and it will help you with your, let's say, delivery of presentations, the way you should talk. So you can just say this, and you can actually then turn on the voice mode here, which you see, and talk to it the way, let's say, you want to talk in a presentation. Then ask ChatGPT to analyze that for you and talk about your strength, weaknesses, what you should focus on. So in this way, you can try these generic AI models also. But Udly, as I told you, is a specialized AI model just focusing on the delivery and the presentation aspects. So this was our third category of tools. So here you can see we have covered all the 3 categories, and this is part of your learning phase. So here you can learn about coding, doing research, and working on your soft skills. I have given some sample prompts also, which you can try with all these tools. So you will have the PPT available, so you can try these later. Now what I'll do, we'll move to the second part, which is your content design and delivery phase. So we have completed the learning phase of like how you can upskill or learn the new skills. Now I'll talk about how you can create content, curriculum, you can design content and create presentations for the effective delivery to your students. So this is what we'll focus on now. So before beginning, let's have an objective in mind, a goal that we want to work towards. And this is what I have written here. So the goal here is to create a complete 1 week module you can implement immediately in your course. So let's say you are taking a course on some particular topic and you want to create a 1 week module. Now, in the 1 week module, you want these things to be present. And let's go through them one by one. So the first is your 3 measurable outcomes related to the topic that you are going to be teaching to your students. This should follow Bloom's apply and analyze principle. Bloom is again Benjamin Bloom. He has done a lot of research in this area of how to come up with the academic curriculum, how to improve students' performance in particular aspects. So he has done a lot of research on that. And this is what I have written here, that Bloom's apply and analyze should be used to create the 3 measurable outcome to measure the success of the course. The second is a 90-minute live session plan. So you will be delivering the live session. So what all segments should be there, what should be the timing. So all that you also want in the outcome. Third is 2 async activities with certain time estimates. Fourth is OER readings and videos. So you want some verified links of the readings and videos which you can share with your students. Then you have you want one graded assessment also with rubric of 4 criteria across 4 levels. So these are the things that you want in the module that you are going to be delivering. And now I'll talk about very popular tools, Perplexity and ChatGPT, and we'll go through them to create this entire 1 week module plan, which you can create for the upcoming course that you will be taking. So this is the next step we will be working on. If you are not aware with Bloom's taxonomy, so this is a slide that you can go through. So according to Bloom's taxonomy, there are 6 tags, and whatever you are teaching to your student should fall under those tags. Like it has 6 tags: remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. So this is a reference slide. You can go through later and learn about what does all that mean and how it helps in creating effective education material. Now, before I move forward, I have a quick question for all of you, and I want you to give me answer in chat. That is Perplexity a AI search engine or a LLM? So can you all drop in chat? What do you think is a LLM or a AI search engine? Yeah, so I'm getting responses, LLM. So I would like all of you to, just participate. Even if you don't know, maybe you can do quick search, Google search, and answer this. Yeah. So I see majority of you have written LLM. So I'll take you through when we go to the Perplexity's website dashboard. I'll talk about what it is, a LLM or a AI search engine. But for now, let's see our next set of actions, what we are going to do. So for this content delivery and design phase, we will be using a set of prompts. Prompt, as you might know, that is the instructions that we write, and AI bases on those instructions give us the responses. So 2 AI tools which we are going to be using is first is Perplexity and the second is ChatGPT. Perplexity is what I will use for source gathering. So because let's say you are going to deliver a particular lecture on a specific topic, so you need to have certain source or the content for that. And we will take help of Perplexity for that. So I will be pasting all these prompts in Perplexity and will show you what kind of result we are getting. So let's go to Perplexity now. So this is perplexity.ai. And if I actually go to Google, so when you go to Google, you see this. Perplexity is a free AI powered answer engine. So you can see, so I had asked all of you that question, is Perplexity a search engine or a large language model? So Perplexity AI is actually not a large language model. It's a AI powered answer engine. So you can think of as a wrapper built on your large language model. When we say large language model, we actually mean GPT model, GPT 5.2, Gemini models. Those are actually your large language models, and Perplexity is actually a tool which is built on top of that. And you can, when you actually go to Perplexity's dashboard, you might have seen this option, choose a model. So there are multiple options. Set source for your search, like from where you want your queries to be answered. Then you have choose a model option. So if you click here, you will see all these different large language models present to answer your question. It has Sonar, Gemini. So Gemini is from Google, GPT is from OpenAI, Claude is from Anthropic, Grok is from X. This I'm not sure, but you can see it provides large language model. You can select any of this large language model and Perplexity will use them to answer your queries. But it is not a LLM in itself. It's like a tool built on top of that. So I hope this answers your confusion. So it's not LLM. It's an AI tool or a wrapper built on top of that. So now I'll take you through the Perplexity, how to use that for gathering the content for whatever course that you are going to deliver next. So first I'll paste this prompt. So let me put it here. So let's go through this step by step. So what this prompt says, find 8 to 10 authoritative recent sources on topic. Now, topic is a placeholder where you need to provide name of the course or the topic that you are going to cover in that 1 week. So let's say I'm working on data analysis. So data analysis is what I'm covering. And in that week, I'm working on data pre-processing, let's say. So data pre-processing in data analysis is what I'm covering in a week. And I want Perplexity to find some resources which I can use for creating the content. And then if you see, I've said, prefer these resources. So I've written NPTEL, scikit-learn document, university pages, textbooks. So these are the kind of resources I will prefer. And why? Because you don't want your teaching material to come from any blog which is there, which doesn't have right information. So you want these verified sources only to prepare your education material. So this is a very important constraint that you should put while creating the education content. Then you say the output should be in a tabular format, saying title, link, year, license. And here you see the last line. It says exclude personal blogs and verifiable sites for this particular search query which we have written, and mark which are OER. So this is the prompt, first prompt that we are writing in Perplexity to make sure we are using the right content to create the educational material. So with this, let's hit enter. And you see it has started performing the search. So you see it is searching for data processing, data analysis. And if you want to see what happened behind the scene, you can click on this 3 steps completed. So it's a very transparent process which Perplexity gives you. And it is very important to use such tools when you are creating education content, because you want to make sure that it's correct and it's not coming from anything randomly which is available on internet. So you see, it has done a lot of review of the sources. It has gone through YouTube, Scikit-learn documents. So behind the scene, it reviewed those sources. And then after that, it has created this final output. So a lot of things happen behind the scene, which you can check through this 3 steps completed option here. Let me collapse. Yeah. And the final response is this one. And as we had said that the output should be in a tabular format. So this is exactly what you can see. So it has identified some 8 to 10 resources, and it has given the links also. So all of these are verifiable links. So you can click and see that if this is the right resource that you should refer to or not. It also gives you year when it was updated, one line why to use. So you see it says that it's an official API reference for encoding imputation with Python implementation. So every link or resource which it has given you, it has given rationale also that why you should use that. So you can see it's the entire table with content. So now that we have got our verified links available, now let's ask Perplexity again to create the study material using these links. So for that, we will use the second prompt in the Perplexity. And here we are seeing from the sources above. So whatever sources we got, produce 1-page teacher brief. So 1 page, you can make it 2, 3. So let's say make it 2. So this is basis on your requirement, how lengthy you want it to be. Then you say 2-page brief on topic. So topic is again what we had written at the top. So the topic that we are interested in is this. You can change this topic as per whatever you are working on. After that, you are giving details on what sections you want in this 2-page teacher brief. So you say that sections should have key ideas, common pitfall, do, don't checklist, 3 short examples. And very importantly, you see that every claim must have an inline citation linked to exact source. So this is very important for the verifiability of the information that you have put in that document. And then you say if a point lacks a source, omit it. So with this, let's create our page, 2-page teacher brief. So you can see it has created the content, that data pre-processing, transform raw data, gives some introduction on that. Then as we had asked, key ideas, common pitfalls, do and don't checklist related to the concept, 3 short examples of standardization, normalization, binarization. So all that information it has put in this document. So now as a next step, what you can do, you can copy this or download it. You can download this as PDF, docx, markdown, whichever format suits you. So you will get the document here. So all the things that we saw is actually here now. You can make it 3-page, 4-page, 5-page. You can change the content that you want to have inside it. So basis on whatever need you have, you can change the prompt. So it's all about the prompt that you have. Whatever changes you will make here, the kind of content you will get finally in the page which are generated by Perplexity. So once you have the content, as you remember, the objective that we have is to create this final plan. So for that, now we'll use ChatGPT. And why ChatGPT? Because now we have all the content verified using Perplexity. The other things we can take help with ChatGPT. So the verifiability was the one aspect, which is why we prefer Perplexity to create the educational content. Now we'll move to ChatGPT and we'll use these 3 prompts step by step to achieve our final goal. So let's go to ChatGPT and create a new chat. So first, we'll start with giving a persona and background to the AI model. So with this, you can see first we are giving role. If any of you familiar with what are the components of a good prompt, you might have heard that role is one of the most important one. So in the role you can see we have said you are a higher education instructional designer for India. Familiar with? Then you can specify these all are placeholders which you see in the square brackets. You can change it as per the domain that you are working on, whatever constraints that you want to put in. So this is the role which we are giving. Who is your audience? Is it high school students, undergraduate, postgraduate, working professional? Bandwidth means the kind of internet they have. Is it low, typical? What LMS you are using, Google or Moodle? Constraints, what kind of constraints you want to have. Always prefer OER sources, avoid hallucination, include accessibility and integrity nodes. Output style, table first, and after that concise bullets, no marketing tone. So this is the kind of persona first you are giving to AI here. So here we are just giving it that what all you want your AI to work as, what constraint it should follow. So we'll just paste this as it is. And you can see it says that noted, I'll operate with the following design and constraint styles unless you change them. Parameter role is this, higher education instructor designer, quality and compliance should adhere to this, audience, bandwidth. So whatever we specified in the first prompt, it has said that, it has noted that, and it will use those constraints and styles only. Now, once we have done that, now we will start formulating our entire course plan. So here I'll now paste the second prompt. So we will use these 3 prompts in ChatGPT. Let's see what the second prompt looks like. It says that write 4 measurable learning outcomes for the topic. At Bloom's apply and analyze. Map each learning outcome to a course outcome and suggest the evidence to measure it. So here now we are creating a structured plan that whenever you are delivering this content to your student, you should be able to assess their performance also. So for that, we are going to use this prompt and outcomes for topic as you see here. So this topic is again a placeholder. Here we will actually paste or upload the document that we created in Perplexity. So this is the content or the source of truth we are going to deliver to our students. And using this source, ChatGPT should come up with this 4 measurable learning outcomes or LOS written here. So what we can do, we can paste the entire content or we can upload it. So this is our entire content. You can say for below topic. So we have just pasted everything here. Let me upload this. So whatever is here, you can either upload. I'm having some issue with the uploading, so I'm just pasting here. So we have all the content here, and using that, it should come up with our 4 measurable learning outcome. So you can see it has created a table for us. It has created 4 learning outcomes. The outcome 1 is apply appropriate pre-processing technique to a given data set. And how to do the assessment for that? Provide a lab exercise where students will be pre-processing a raw data set and will justify technique selection in code comment. And this actually is mapped to Bloom's apply level. So whatever learnings are being done, they're applied using this lab exercise. Then the second is related to analysis, analyze the impact of different scaling method that falls under Bloom's level analyze. And how to do the assessment for that? It is through this comparative experiment report with before and after metrics. So in this way, you can create this structured table and the plan that what you should measure basis on whatever content you are teaching to your students. And after that, we have the last prompt, which is our session plan. So this is using these learning outcome, which we just got above. So you can see using above learning outcome and topic that we had given. So you can see and topic given. So using above learning outcomes and topic given, create 90-minute live plan split into 10 to 15-minute segments following activate, teach, practice, reflect principle with 2 asynchronous activities, and output should be in following format. You should have segment, minute, purpose, what to show and do. So let's hit enter and see what sort of plan we get. So you can see it has created a 10-minute segment plan for the 90-minute class, live class that you are going to have on the topic data analysis, data pre-processing in data analysis. And it has followed this activate, teach, practice, reflect principle. So the session will start with the activate phase where you do a quick poll on which pre-processing step is often misunderstood. And then you start with showing a raw small data set with missing value outliers. Then you start with your teaching space where for half an hour you do the teaching of different concept. After that, you move to the practice session where you do live hands-on demos using coding environment. And you end with the reflection step, where the reflection is which pre-processing choice would you change in your last project. So you can see it's a very structured plan which has been created, which you can follow using all the content material you got and the learning plan that you created. So this is how you can design your course using these 5 prompts. 2 you need to use in Perplexity, first to gather and create the content, and the final design of the curriculum will be done in ChatGPT. And what you can do, you can just copy this table and you can open Google Sheet or whatever resource Excel you have, just paste it and keep it handy for your references. So this was the content design. Now I'll talk about how to create the presentation. So let's say when you are doing the delivery, obviously you will have some slides. So now the tools that I'll take you through will be used for the slide generation. I want to ask quick question. All of you, are you using any AI tool for slide creations? If yes, which one? Are you using any software for slide creation? Yeah, see Canva. So are you using Canva inside ChatGPT or Canva standalone? Yeah, so actually there's a very good thing. ChatGPT actually has integrated Canva also. So if you see here in the plus icon, you can click, go to more, and in Explore apps, you can actually now integrate Canva. So I have already done that. But if you have not done that, you can just type Canva and you will be able to create slides from ChatGPT and edit it in Canva. So this is a new, this is recently they had added Canva also. So if you are already using Canva, so you can do that. I think Gemini, yes, Gemini is also really good at generating slides. Anyone use Gamma? It's very good. Gamma, Gamma. Yes, so Gamma is also one very nice tool for generating slides. So let me show you how you can create slides using Gamma. So you go to gamma.app. And when you land here, you first create create new AI. So select this. And here you see what are the different things you can create using it. So we first click on, let's say, paste in text. So the text we already have with us. We generated it using Perplexity. So what you can do, just click here, paste in text. And then you get these 4 options. You want to create presentation, web page, document, or social apps. So what you can do, whatever content we generated using Perplexity, you can use as it is. So let's just quickly get our content. So this is the content we had generated. So let's say now you want to convert that into presentation. You can write all of this here, and then you can click on this option, generate from notes. So these are our notes or outline. Then click on continue. And here, then you click on generate. Thing is that with the free version, you can only create a 10 slide presentation. So this is one of the, I would say, limitations of the free version of Gamma. On the left hand side, you can see there are a lot of options. You want to keep text minimal, extensive, so that all option you can select here. Then write for, this is again, you can give instruction that you are writing or creating a presentation for your students. So here you see write for machine learning practitioner, data scientist, seeking best practices in pre-processing. So here you can see students instead of these practitioners, so that you are giving it a right relevant information, so that your slides will be created accordingly. So whatever you instructions that you give have a lot of impact on the final outcome that you get. So here you can see machine learning and data scientist students. Then you can make the tone academic, you can say academic. And then you have other options like what sort of visuals you want, AI images, which AI model you want to use. So it provides different options that the image which are getting generated, which AI model it should use. After all these options, selecting those relevant information, you can click on generate. So there's a lot of options of doing specific editing using the options which you see on the right hand side available to you. So you can see in real time, the slides are getting generated. So you see you have text also, and it is generating the relevant images also. And every block that you are seeing here is editable. So you can click on any of this and change it. So let's say once the presentation creation is done, you want to change certain things, you want to change images. So it's not that it's all hard coded. You can make changes as per your expertise. You want to remove something, add something. So all of that can be done in this particular template that you will get. So you can see all the slides are getting generated here basis on the content that we had provided. And it has relevant infographics or like images also here. But I will always encourage all of you, once the content is generated, always do a proofreading because I'll talk it towards the end that these AI models, they are not 100% accurate. So do not solely rely on whatever they have generated. Always double check the information which is present or written in the whatever content or the slides that you are getting. So you can see in just a few minutes, you have your slides here. So with Gamma, it's very easy to do. And as you can see, Gamma is a specialized software for creating presentations. So Gemini is again good, but you can see it's a generic framework or generic model where you can do everything. With Gamma, it focuses on creating web pages and slide or content generation. So any question anyone has on the slide creation part? So you can see you have all the slides which you can download, and then you can download it any format, PowerPoint or slides, Google Slides. So now let's go back to our slide. So we are done with the content design and the delivery part. Now we'll move to the third part. Let me just close this. So we are done with the content design and delivery. Now we'll move to the third phase, which is your assessment phase, where now I'll talk about how to do item creation and auto grading. So for that, there are special AI softwares like Quizy, which you can use, or you can take help of ChatGPT also. So I have a prompt here, which I'll show you now in ChatGPT, how you can use that to create quizzes using, let's say, whatever topic that you had taught to your students. So this is the prompt I'll take you through. So let's go back to ChatGPT. So let's use this prompt here now. So here again, we say from this reading. So the reading is what we had already given to ChatGPT. So in the same chat window, it is already aware of what reading we had given. So we can just say that from the reading given above on data pre-processing, then you can say create 5 items. So we are asking it to generate 5 items which should contain 2 MCQs with misconception based distractor, 1 numeric, 1 scenario short answer, 1 interpret the graph type of question, provide answer key also, and 4x4 rubric for assessment of short and scenario based questions. So let's paste this prompt and see what result we get. So see, first it has generated the MCQs. The question in which statement about standardization is correct. Then it has given second MCQ, why is fitting a scalar on full database before train test plate is problematic. So these are the 2 MCQs. After that, it has generated your numeric type question, which is given feature values, mean, standard deviation, what are the standardized value. Here, what student needs to provide, they need to provide the calculation which they have used to get the answer. Then you have a question 4, which is a scenario based question, that if you give a data set which contains strong outliers, a student applies standard scalars, what pre-processing change would you recommend and why? So instead of showing the calculation, student needs to provide their thought process on what recommendation they are going to provide. The question 5 is interpret the graph, where you create a graph and shows 2 features and ask them that what pre-processing was applied and how does it affect the model behavior. So you can see different type of assessment quizzes you can generate basis on whatever teaching or reading material you had provided. Then it provides you answer key also, like what is the, for MCQs is straightforward, for the numeric one is also straightforward. Q4 and Q5, you see where the student needs to write the rationale also. So it's not just providing a number or information. Then it has provided a 4x4 rubric also, that how will you judge students' responses for scenario and short answer quizzes. So you can see the criteria, how to give someone a 4 score of excellent, or let's say concept accuracy, justification, application, clarity, and integrity. When to score someone in a poor category or give a very low score. When the concept accuracy incorrect, no justification is provided, unclear, misleading results are there. So in a way, so you can use this as your framework for assessing the student's result. Now let's say you want help with interpret the graph. So as you all know that GPT can generate images also. So you can ask it to generate the image also for the Q5. So here you can see generate image also for question number 5. So it can generate that also, which you can use in your quizzes. So this is how you can do this with chat GPT, but there are other specialized tools also. One is Quizzy, which I'll take you through. So Quizzy is the one, it's now called Wayground. You can actually connect this to any of your LMS systems and create quizzes here using the AI and put it in your LMS portals. Whatever response students gives you, you can store it and you actually get the responses in an Excel format. Let me show you a sample Excel. Yeah, so you see, this is the kind of Excel actually you get. What you can do, you can create, so these are the quizzes you will have in your inside Quizzy. And for every question, for every student, you will get the responses. Let's say you gave it to 2 students and you can then get the responses of those students put in here. So what answer that they provided, did they attempted a question or not. So this sort of Excel you get back when you create a quiz in the Quizzy or Wayground platform. So here you see it provides a lot of resources for teachers which can be created using AI. So you can, let's say, click here on create. It provides a lot of options, but the focus is on creating the assessment. So when you click here, assessment, you see it gives you option how to create the quizzes. You can generate with AI. So what you can do, you can click here and just use AI to get the responses. Some issue. I think there's issue, just give me a minute. Is my Chrome window visible to you? Can you confirm in chat? Okay. Yeah. So Quizzy was the third one which you can use. Now the fourth is your Are you able to see my slides? Let me reshare again. Okay, yeah, let me just reshare. Is it visible now? Okay, thank you. So we have completed 3 steps. So the third was assessment, where I showed you this prompt, which you can use to actually create the gradings, material, item creation. The last step is your analytics phase, where you can use tools to analyze the discussions which people are having or students are having on LMS sites like Google Classroom. You can ask a GPT model or Gemini model to come up with the insights also. So now let's see what kind of prompt or the tools you can use here. So here you see the tools you can use is Fireflies AI, Notion AI, Perplexity. But ChatGPT is something which you can use here without going into specific tools. How the prompt will look like? This is the prompt. The prompt says summarize these posts into themes, misconceptions, and create a 15-minute practice task. Write a supportive 20-word announcement also. So what you need to do, you actually need to, let's say, go to ChatGPT or any other platform. What you will need to do. So have you ever seen any LMS discussion document? If not, this is how they usually look like. So here you can see what different students are talking about on a specific topic. So let's say you had a classroom and students were giving some or asking some question. They were discussing on a certain topic. So this is how, when you export those chat, how this is how it looks like. So let's say you copy all of this and you paste all of that, or you can upload the document also. And after that, you use this prompt along with all the discussions which students are having to analyze where students are lagging, what concept they are not able to understand. So this is what the analytics phase is used for. So with this, let's hit enter. So you can see it is analyzing what students are talking about, what key themes are there. So you see the key themes are data quality, common pre-processing steps, impact of result, time trade-off. Some common misconceptions and confusions which students have, it is related to missing value, normalization, outlier scope. And to actually remove this confusion or help students, this is the kind of 15-minute practice task you can create for them, is to create a small data set and ask them to identify missing value, decide, drop, impute, and keep, what to do and what not, apply this normalization, standardization, and write a 3 bullet point explaining the choices. So in this way, basis on the students like confusion, you can come up with a practice task. And then this is a final 120-word support announcement, which you can post in any LMS. What you can do, you can put your quizzes result also. So whatever result you got as part of the assessment, you can provide those Excels also as attachment and identify that which student is struggling in which particular section of the topic that you had given them in the week duration. So you can identify the main key pain points for a specific student also, and create personalized study plans for those particular ones. So this was our fourth step or analytics phase, where you can use ChatGPT or Gemini or any other these AI tools to come up with the main themes of the discussion, where students are struggling and how to help them next so that they can understand those concepts also. Now, before ending, quick question for all of you. I have this question which says, can you tell me which is a PII, person name, or a Aadhaar number? Can you quickly drop in chat which is a PII? Is both or none, person name, Aadhaar number? So I get Aadhaar number as a response. Yeah, so correct. And Aadhaar number is a PII. Person name is a private information, not a PII information. So PII means that if you have that information, you can uniquely identify that person. With person name, you can have multiple people with the same name. And why it is important to know this topic? Because of these 6 points which I'm going to be talking about, how to use AI responsibly. So whenever you are using any AI tool, you need to be aware of these 6 things. First is, no AI is 100% accurate. So always verify AI generated context with Perplexity or Google Scholar. Protect the privacy of student and yourself. Never post your Aadhaar number, PII information in AI prompt. Always do proper attribution, cite all resources, add credits. For example, this image you have taken from this particular place. Always make sure you follow the accessibility standards. Be aware of the academic integrity. Make sure you tell your students where it is okay to use AI, where not. It is okay to use AI for ideas, outlines, practices, but it is not allowed for proctored test. Then always be aware of AI detector usage. Even AI detector tools are not completely reliable. They can also make mistakes. So always ask students to maintain the version history and the prompts which they created, and conduct short viva from those versions and ask them to submit them along with the final responses, because AI is going to be there. Everyone is using them. So it's not possible that to ask them to not use them. So, but we need to come up with ways to verify that whether they are understanding the concept fully or not. So that can be done by asking them to maintain the version history and the prompts. So this is what I wanted to emphasize on. So always be aware of the AI usage guideline. So that's it from my end. Anyone, all of any question if you have? I think we have completed the session in just in time. Any question? Feel free to unmute or you can write here the question.
There are no questions, it seems. Oh, no, no, yes, there is a question from Ankur Sharma.
Yeah. So basically, it was the question on which of those two, person name, Aadhaar number, which is a PII, personally identifiable information. So you should not paste PII information in the prompt, always redact it. Non-PII is like, for example, person name is not a PII. Then other information, which could be, let's say, your address. In address, multiple people can be living. So just know about PII. Other things are your non-PII.
I think that answers your question, Ankur. Right, I think there are no more questions. So let's conclude this session with a big thank you to Shikha for this session. And thank you so much to faculty members. I understand you have a long day in the college also, in the university also, and then you have devoted this time to upskill yourself. So I think we should appreciate that. And thank you to the faculty members and thank you to Ishika as well. So the recording I will share after the session is over. We will be putting it up all on Sector Skill Council NASCOM's YouTube channel, so you'll get all the recordings. However, we will do it after this is over. So I will do that and I'll share the presentations with you once I receive them from the trainers. So thank you so much, and I see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Have a good rest of the evening. Thank you. Bye.